Prakash Lewis, who is the head regional application consultant at Belimo Automation India Pvt. Limited. Coming from an engineering background, he is credited with masters in marketing management degree. He has around 2 decades of experience with Belimo. Mr. Prakash is endowed with varied experience in sales, technical support, marketing, and international sales. Presently, he is working closely with the designers in achieving system design conditions while making them more energy efficient and safe. Today, Mr. Prakash will talk about Belimo's innovative solutions.
So, welcome you all to Belimo Innovative Solutions. As the earlier speakers have mainly spoken more on the design part of it, I'll be covering on this topic through our products and through our solutions. So what matters most? It could be with a consultant, it could be with the end user, it could be with the MEP contractor. So what really matters most when one is designing a project? Performance, efficiency, and reliability. So these three are the things which matter the most. And that is what Belimo in turn offers you. Belimo was founded in the year 1975 in Hinwil in Switzerland. And in the very next year, we gave the world its first direct coupled actuator. Since then, innovation has been at the center of Belimo's product development. You can see innovation in our sleekest 1 Newton meter damper actuator, in our energy valve, which is considered to be the most intelligent HVAC valve, in our sensors with its communication capability, in our thermal energy meters, which can get connected to the Belimo cloud. So one commonality is innovation. With this little background, I will play a Belimo introduction video.
A pleasant indoor climate is taken for granted by most people, especially as we spend about 90% of our time indoors. In buildings, complex heating, air conditioning, and ventilation systems ensure our well-being around the clock. However, buildings are also responsible for around 40% of global CO2 emissions. With optimized and intelligent building control, we can protect the environment and our resources in a sustainable manner. This is where Belimo comes in. With our approximately 1,800 employees, we work day in and day out in over 80 countries to improve comfort, energy efficiency, and safety in buildings, and optimize heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems sustainably. We do this by using damper actuators to motorize ventilation, air conditioning, as well as fire protection and smoke control, or with the aid of control valves to regulate and control flows in various HVAC applications. New market standards were set with the groundbreaking innovations of the pressure independent or the energy valve. Our product range of sensors enable a reliable and consistent room comfort and are known for their easy installation. Belimo employs the best HVAC application experts with the ambition of constantly improving our products, further simplifying the installation of components and the maintenance of systems. Therefore, we invest around 7% of our sales every year in research and development, which is unique in the industry. And with our own 8 logistics and customization centers worldwide, we deliver within the shortest time, even for the smallest order quantities. Our goal as global market leader is to make our customers successful and to work together to always be a step ahead. Because we are doing everything we can today to make sure our small devices will have a big impact on the sustainability of tomorrow. Small devices, big impact.
I hope you all were all able to see the video along with the audio part of it. So as far as Belimo is concerned, what is CISM? I would say CISM is our purpose, wherein C stands for comfort. Our products make sure the comfort and the well-being of the occupants. E stands for energy. Our products make sure that they in turn make the systems more energy efficient, at the same point in time consume less energy. S stands for safety. So when it comes to safety of human life and assets, our products are uncompromised. I stands for installation. Our products are very easy to install. And M stands for maintenance. During the product life cycle, we give our customers the most desired peace of mind. With this little introduction about the company, I will now take you to the pressure independent valve. Today, this valve is finding more and more usage in HVAC designs, mainly on account of the energy efficiency that this valve brings along with it. Today, there is a very popular valve that is used for this function. So how does this valve basically operate? So when you have a close look at this valve, you'll realize that basically this valve is made up of two components. This portion over here, there's one part which is called the differential pressure regulator, which in turn ensures that the differential pressure across the valve remains constant. Only when the differential pressure across the valve remains constant will this valve be in a position to deliver the design flow characteristic. But in case if this differential pressure regulator is not in a position to maintain the differential pressure, then the valve will not be able to maintain the desired flow. Now, when you have a close look at this valve, you'll basically realize that when it comes to the differential pressure regulator, there is a spring which is involved. And if there is any impurity in the water, which is bound to be, and if it tends to limit the free movement of the spring, it will no longer be able to maintain the pressure differential. And if this is not able to maintain the pressure differential, then definitely this valve will not be able to deliver the right amount of flow. The next thing is, we made a mention saying that in this valves, they make sure that they are delivering the right amount of flow. But when you look at this constructional details of this valve, you'll realize that this valve is not in a position to actually measure the true value of the flow. So is there a way out to this solution? Or can pressure independence in HVAC control valves be achieved in a better way? The answer is yes. Here there is a product which is called the electronic pressure independent valve. In this, what we have done is we have replaced the differential pressure regulator by means of an inline ultrasonic flow sensor. Yes, you heard it right. There is an inline ultrasonic flow sensor. And then when it comes to the control valve, there is a good amount of intelligence which is built into this valve. So how is this valve different? Typically, any control valve, whenever it receives a control signal, the control signal is always interpreted in terms of the position that the valve needs to attain. So this means a 0 to 10 volt DC signal will correspond to 0 to 100% position of the valve. But in this valve, there is something which is very unique and which is very different. In this valve, say for example, this valve which is shown over here has a maximum flow handling capacity of say 125 GPM. And as per the design, we require 100 GPM. So what we'll be doing is, either at a CGM or at site, we'll be configuring this valve for 100 GPM. Thereafter, whenever this valve receives a control signal, the control signal will no longer be interpreted in terms of the position that the valve needs to attain, but in terms of the flow that needs to pass through the valve. So if there is a 5 volt DC that is incident on this valve will make sure that 50 GPM is passing through it. And it will not merely open 50% and thereby leaving the user to determine what is the flow which is passing through it. So this is the biggest game changer in this valve. So what does it mean? It means precise flow measurement and control. And what does it imply? It implies better comfort conditions. Now, a question which will come to our mind is there a valve which is better than the electronic pressure independent valve? And the answer to this is yes. We have a product which is called the energy valve, and we also call it an enhanced electronic pressure independent valve. So let us see how this valve looks like. So yes, this valve has the inline ultrasonic flow sensor, and when it comes to the valve, it has much more intelligence than the electronic pressure independent valve. And now an element which has now got added in is a pair of temperature sensors. So this means since this valve has the capability of measuring the flow and the temperature differential, it is well equipped to calculate the BTUs. But one thing which needs to be noted in over here is that the intent of this valve is not to measure BTU for for the purpose of billing or for the energy monitoring. The intent that it is calculating the BTU is to make sure that this valve performs in a much different manner by means of which it becomes more intelligent. So how is this valve different? We all know when it comes to the thermal output of a AHU or for that matter an FCU, it mainly depends on two variables. One is the volumetric flow and the next is the delta T. You look at any control valve that is today available, it only and only focuses on one aspect for control, and that is the volumetric flow. And one thing which gets neglected is the delta T. Whereas when it comes to the energy valve, it looks at both the parameters. It looks at the volumetric flow as well as the delta T, and it makes sure that the unit doesn't fall into the low delta T mode. And today we know when it comes to the low delta T syndrome which gets generated, it in turn contributes to the overall system becoming less energy efficient, resulting in higher chilled water pumping costs. At the same point in time, staging unwanted chillers when not required. Also, when it comes to the energy valve, this energy valve can also be operated in the power control mode. In the power control mode, what is different? The difference over here is that the control signal will now be interpreted in terms of the tonnage that the unit needs to deliver. So this is the way the energy valve is different. As far as the energy valve is concerned, it has the capability of storing 13 months of data at a time interval of 2 hours. So all this data remains intact on the energy valve, even if it is not connected to the BMS. And if it is connected to the BMS, definitely all this data can be passed on to the higher end system. As far as this energy valve is concerned, it can communicate on BACnet IP, Modbus MST, as well as Power over Ethernet. Since this energy valve has the capability of getting connected to the internet, it can even get connected to the Belimo cloud. And the data from the Belimo cloud can be used by a third-party application software to pick up the required data and to get this data integrated into their systems. Sensors and meters, they say that you can only control what you can measure. But if the measurement is accurate, I would say the control is precise. And that is what Belimo sensors in turn offer you. Some of the unique features about our sensors is that it is enclosed in a very robust housing. The next is the enclosures. What you see, these are all IP65, but at the same point in time, it is a simple snap-on type of an arrangement. Sensors many a time are installed at a height and above the false ceiling. So definitely I would say termination is an issue. But when it comes to our sensors, they have the pluggable spring-loaded terminals. When it comes to our sensors, it comes with a drilling template. So many a time sensors, they get installed well ahead of time. And when it is a time for the sensor to be put into operation, it is fully covered with cement, concrete, paint, tar. So this means the sensor is not going to sense the temp conditions properly. So by means of the drilling template, one can reserve the allocated position and carry out the cabling work. And only at the right time, we just go and press fit the sensors into the drilling template. When it comes to a T plus RH, I would say yes, definitely today when it comes to the comfort conditions, T plus RH is one parameter which needs to be precisely controlled. When it comes to a T plus RH sensors, it gives you two outputs, from which one output is defined, that is temperature. When it comes to the second output, it is selectable. It could either be RH, it could be absolute humidity, it could be dew point, or it could be enthalpy. When it comes to pressure sensing, we have pressure sensors with and without display, and they also have the auto zero adjustment. This means the pressure is being sensed very accurately. And today we know that based on the pressure sensed, the VFDs are ramped up and down. We also have the most simplest differential pressure switch, which is installed across the filter or in the blowers to monitor the status. Today, air quality is gaining more and more importance. And when it comes to the CO2 monitoring, it is done by means of a dual channel NDIR technology. So this means the CO2 is being sensed with the highest levels of accuracy. At the same point in time, it is automatically getting recalibrated in the background. So these sensors can be used for a 24/7 operation. When it comes to our CO2 sensors, you can have different options. It could be a simple CO2 sensor, it could be CO2 with temperature and RH, or it could even be CO2 with VOC. When it comes to our temperature sensors, we have temperature sensors with the RTD or with the NTC selections. And in the temperature sensors, we have temperature sensors for duct and pipe, the simplest of the cable type sensors, strap-on temperature sensors, the averaging type of sensors, and sensors which can be installed outdoors. When it comes to the room solution of our sensors, I would say they come with a very sleek aesthetically design, and these sensors also have the NFC communication capability. Flow sensors, it is based again on the proven ultrasonic principle with a flow measuring accuracy of plus minus 2%. And the good thing about our flow sensors is that it also has the glycol compensation. This means if there is glycol which is added into the water, it will still measure the flow accurately. Thermal energy meters. Today, this product is gaining more and more importance, mainly with the respect of checking the overall system efficiency. When it comes to the Belimo thermal energy meters, we have the MID approvals. At the same point in time, our thermal energy meters communicates on Modbus backnet, and it can even be connected to the Belimo cloud. This means the billing data which is now available on the Belimo cloud can be accessed by the third-party billing software company, and the bills can be generated and it can be sent out to the occupants. So this is the ease that this product brings along with it. I also now welcome each one of you to the Belimo Sysm House. Belimo is the name of the company, and Sysm is our purpose. The picture what you see over here is our own building at Rabale, which was opened in the year April of this year. And this building mainly houses a sales office, a customizing center, that is where the Belimo products are customized. And very soon we'll be opening up the experience center. In the experience center, you'll actually get a hands-on on the Belimo products and its functioning in the system. Finally, what is really most important is our products come with a 5-year warranty. And as I made a mention saying that we make sure that we give our customers the peace of mind. But one thing over here, or I would say a point of caution over here, is that we also need to make sure that the products are regularly put into operation. Yes, when it comes to our actuators, they're tested for over 100,000 duty cycles. But say for example, the case of a fire and smoke actuator, if this damper is not put into regular operation apart from the drills, there is a fair possibility that the mechanical part of it gets jammed, because of which when it is most needed, the actuator will not be able to function. Though this actuator is in a position to function because of its reliable design, but despite that, it will not be able to operate. Hence, we all as designers and as operators need to make sure that the products that are installed are put into use, even if they are not meant to be, at a fixed time interval of say 3 months or a duration which is less. With this, we make sure that in the case of an eventuality or at the time of critical functioning, these products are really functioning well, and especially the mechanical part of the system is well tested. When it comes to our products, they are not the size of a big chiller, or for that matter, the size of the HU. But when our products are installed on a chiller, or for that matter on an HU, it improves the overall efficiency of the system. I will end by saying small devices, big impact. Finally, this is the QR code for the Belimo product download and for you to follow us on LinkedIn. This is where we keep our followers updated on the latest technological trends from Belimo. Thank you all.